Hey guys, and welcome back. So, our trays that we did. Excuse that. That was an Amber Alert notice. I've been getting those for the last few hours. So I must have had a little resin on there. So I'll have to just kind of heat that up and take that off or scrape it off. Just get a little paint on there. But our little trays, they set up really well. I added the shells to them, and then I added that flood coat. So since the flood coat made it a little darker right around the edge there, I'm thinking of taking the Liquitex varnish and just smoothly rubbing all of the wood and the outside to make it a little darker so that it matches the... It looks like a water line, but it's not a water line. It's just a resin line. Same thing. This one is done. It looks gorgeous. These are going to be so cute. These are the little eggs that I've been doing with the leftover paint. So I've got the smallest ones, and then I've got one of the medium ones. And I just sand the bottoms down because they normally come out uneven. This is my first test coaster. Sadly, the camera stopped working during this one, and I torched it a little too close. So in 3 spots, it actually ate part of the mold, and part of the mold actually stuck to the resin and then tore out. So if I use this mold, then I'm going to have to sand down those resin spots that'll be on all of them, or I can just wait till I get a new mold. Probably what I'm going to do. But I sanded this down to get all the silicone off, so it's got like, it looks like scratches right now. So we're just going to put a flood coat on this. I'll probably tape the edges lightly. But you can see the detail. I did put a flood coat at the bottom because I didn't quite have enough color. But yeah, so that was my first test coaster with resin. This is my test ashtray. We're going to take it out in a minute. That's the first one I've done. And I had a little extra from the flood coat on the Dragonfly Memorial pours. And then there's some from the flood coat and some from the pink in this. So we've got 2 little eggs here that we're going to remove. These are just so hard to remove, you guys. That's the only thing about this mold, is it is so hard to get these out. You have to like put everything into it because the hole is so small. Okay, so here's this one, and see how it's got a little lip on the back? I don't know if you can see that. Right up here. So that's what I have to sand off. There, you can probably see it now that I've got it on. No, probably not. It's too bright. Anyway, but that one's a chunky glitter egg. And see, it's sitting crooked because I gotta fix the bottom. And then this one, let's try to pull the pink off the mold, and it is not coming off the mold for some reason. There we go. I'm sorry I can't do this fully in camera because I have to kind of push against my body and use all of my abilities to get these out. These molds are great except for when it's time to take your eggs out. They probably should have considered that and maybe made them a little more flexible. I'm so afraid I'm going to break this mold trying to get this egg out of here. I haven't found a good way to remove them yet, you guys. It's just the hole is so tiny, and then the egg is like this big. So I know it comes out because I got the other one out. It's just It's almost like giving birth. Something that is way bigger trying to come out. Okay, so I'm probably just going to wait and demold that later, because it's getting to the point where it's just too much. Yeah, so we'll demold that egg later. I'm not really interested right now. Okay, and we're going to try to demold this one. We're just going to pull the edges loose first. This one has been sitting for about 24 hours now. It was thicker than most that I've been doing, so I wanted to kind of, I know cure time is a lot faster than that, but, and I came back every 20 minutes and torched this baby, trying to get all of these bubbles out. There were still some bubbles around the edge here. They just wouldn't rise enough to be torchable. Just going to turn this mold inside out. Fix it back. There we go. Okay, so here is my first ashtray. I added clear to the bottom, and then I pulled the pink and yellow over. I'm going to have to sand a little bit. I just set it down in trash. So I pulled the pink and yellow over so it would kind of go in the center, but it would still kind of be clear because I wanted to make these kind of transparent. So yeah, I've got a few spots I need to sand, nothing major. And then these little indentions here are where the cigarette lays. I'm going to sit on top of that. Let me example. And there's 4 of those. So that if you have to sit your cigarette down and it's still lit, the ashes still fall in there. If you smoke, you know what those are, but yeah. So the bottom of this is really cool. I don't know if you guys can see how the yellow and the color is mixed. Probably not with this light, but we'll do a close-up on it later when I've got the camera down. So I pretty much just need to sand down these edges right here where it's got just a little bit of a lip and go from there. I'm super excited. That worked out a lot better than I thought it would. So I'll have to work on demolding this. I might try to do it again one more time here. These eggs are so difficult. Looky there, it's giving birth to an egg. Goodness. And I mainly just use it because it's a little bit of extra resin. It's not enough to do another project, and I don't want it to go to waste. There's a little piece of trash that I'll have to... There we go. So this one, the top half, or the top little tip, is the chunky glitter. And I had poured that in there, and then I had some of the pink left over from this, so I poured it on top of it, and it actually looks pretty good together. It's got actually like a fine line. So I still have to sand the bottom of this one off so it'll sit correctly as well. And then we'll have some little eggs that I don't know what to do with, but I'm sure we will figure something out. Eventually I'll have some other smaller molds instead of the eggs. That way when I have little leftover resin, I can use it for something I'm actually going to use. Or have a plan to use. I'll find a plan for the eggs, I just don't know what to do with them yet. So yeah, and then our dragonflies, they look awesome. This is the one with the really fine glitter. It needs another flood coat. And then this is the one with the chunky glitter. And it definitely has to have a flood coat because some of the glitter is like raised up. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's so chunky that it pops up out of the resin and it's not level. So we're definitely going to do a flood coat on these two. I'm going to have to wipe them down because I've touched them and got my oils on them from my fingers. But yeah, so there's the first coat of resin on those. It looks gorgeous, and I will do a flat coat on those soon. And we'll see where we go from there. I just kind of wanted to update everybody on the different pieces that we had started and see how they look. So let me know what you think. My first dabbles in resin.